Good morning, everybody on the West Coast, and good day everywhere else. I'm Jerry Pohorsky, president of the Silicon Valley chapter of the Electric Vehicle Association. And today we have a special presentation kind of going back to our roots where people used to take gas cars and convert them to electric because there was nothing commercially available back in 1967 that went faster than a golf cart. So today we have with us Laurent Frugier, and he has a group of people that do these conversions. And I always say, if you want a professional job, hire a professional. So Laurent's your man, and he can direct you in the right place. He's going to take it away from here. So go ahead, Laurent.
Thank you very much for having me today. Can you see my screen and the presentation slides?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
So let's start with me. My name is Laurent Frugier. Obviously, I'm French. I now share my time between Arkansas and Europe and Africa. I've been an IT engineer, specialized in energy. I'm one of the 3 co-founders of Fuel2Electric. My background is IT and electricity. I worked in Europe, in Africa, and in the US before starting Fuel2Electric. While I'm not a mechanic per se, I fall in love with cars all the time. And it all started with the cars in my family. But what really ignited my passion was the fun and the excitement I got from watching American TV shows from the 70s and the 80s. So at that time, I knew all the Porsches, the Ferraris, the Mercedes, AMGs, and Autobianchis. But these American cars were something else. I grew up in France, and I never saw them on the streets. They felt like they were from a completely different world. That's until I traveled for the first time in the US at the age of 12, and it was fantastic. Just like a different world where really cars, all of them were icons. It was crazy. Then in 2007, I landed a job in IT, focusing on smart cities and transformation of cities like Paris into eco-friendly, all-electric city. I was working for Électricité de France, and I traveled in Europe and in the US. And at that time, I realized that something was moving. I contributed to reports and projects aimed at modifying streets, houses, parking, and highways to prepare for a future where everyone would drive electric cars. But then I thought, what's going to happen with all these classic cars that I love so much? Is it like all those cars will disappear and be replaced by something else? So I started researching the idea of transforming an old muscle car to electric, and it was incredibly appealing. But technology wasn't there yet. I also realized it wasn't only about performance or giving a car a new lease on life. I realized how virtuous and sustainable EV conversion could be. According to EPA.org, replacing your car with another gas engine car produces 380 grams of greenhouse gases per mile. Now, you know, because you have electric cars, but replacing your gas engine car by a new EV would reduce that amount of GHG by a factor of 3, while EV conversion reduces by a factor of 10, simply because you reuse 90% of an existing car instead of building new seats, new frame, new body, new glasses, and still no tailpipe emission. To put things into perspective, 100 cars converted to electric would save the weight equivalent in GHG of a Boeing 777 in the first year. So this is a huge projects. EV conversion has a huge impact. Now, that's when I shared my idea of developing a business around EV conversion with my brother Arnaud on the picture and his father-in-law, John Wilson. John was involved, well, he had businesses for 40 years in converting cars for handicapped people. So driving with one finger, having all the lifts for chairs and so on. So I knew this guy was really the right guy to talk to. We bought a 66 Mustang and decided to design a complete setup and find someone to build it. We didn't, from the beginning, we knew, because we weren't mechanic, we knew we wouldn't build it ourselves. And that's really when we realized that EV conversion is a jungle, like really complicated. Technology, fortunately, has evolved rapidly over the 10 years. Even someone that has no training understand the huge gap between a DIY build from 2012, so it's only 12 years ago, and a plug-and-play kit from 2024. On the left here, you have a DC motor that has only 32 horsepower, lithium iron phosphate batteries, and it's a 34.5 kilowatt hour capacity, and 100 miles of range. On the right, 10 years later, a new kit from one of the professionals within our network called APPEV. It's a plug-and-play system. The average installation time is 3 days. Battery pack is made of fire retardant glass fiber, impact resistant Kevlar, way different from the inexistent battery box on the left. In these kinds of kits, all system parameters are pre-programmed and controlled by the VCU to ensure maximum performance and battery longevity. This is a big, big change. The last 10 years brought many, many, many new features to what we knew about EV conversion. Clearly, technology is now mature. Unfortunately, we would Google, watch YouTube videos, and send out tons of emails, but we would receive even more questions in return. It was very complicated to find someone that was willing to help. The problem we faced was not about the technology anymore. We were missing someone who could connect us with the right experts. Because we were not DIYers, we were looking for someone to perform the conversion for us. And the problem came really clearly to us. It proved to be very complicated connecting with experts and shops. These folks in their shop, they want to spend so much time in their shop doing things that they won't spend more time answering phone calls or answering emails. They are busy and they don't have time to educate individuals, project owners. We then realized there was a link missing between the car enthusiasts or the fleet managers and the experts of EV conversion. That's really when we decided to create Fuel2Electric. Initially, having the Mustang was not part of the plan. Well, let's say the Mustang was the plan, Fuel2Electric was not. So we decided to create this internet platform that solves exactly the problem that we encountered. Our objective with Fuel2Electric is to help everybody in the automotive industry and anyone to convert their vehicle to electric. People call us, well, and we love it, I have to say, they call us the Airbnb of EV conversion. Now, we have created a reverse marketplace where everyone can submit their project once. Basically, you come on the website, you fill up a form, we have a discussion together, and in the end, you receive quotes from the Fuel2Electric network, which today is composed of over 80 vendors. This is very simple. We assess the projects, we feature the realistic ones, and we match them with builders. In average, our customers receive 3 proposals from shops around them. So it's very easy. It's so convenient that one of the last projects found a shop 4 weeks, only 4 weeks after answering our online questionnaire. And now the car is being converted as we speak. We also organize Q&A sessions between the project owner and the different vendors. We organize car inspections in case restoration is involved. And we also organize the shipping of the car from the client's house to the shop when it's necessary. Sometimes you'll receive a proposal from a shop that is close to you and another proposal from someone that is, let's say, on the East Coast. But the difference is he has done the exact same build, let's say, a Thunderbird, multiple times. So you'd rather send your car to the East Coast so you know that you'll find someone with experience. We do our best so EV conversion becomes more easy for everybody. More importantly, we want all these classic back on the road instead of rotting in garages or a museum, or worst, in salvage yards. More importantly, again, we want these family cars or cars from TV shows that I've seen when I was a kid to hit the road again without leaks, without smoke, without hassle. We want them to become reliable daily drivers again. And it's becoming possible with our website, and it looks like that. We built it for all the EV conversion enthusiasts. Our priority is working with shops is safety. We want the cars not only to be road-worthy, but with the OEM level of safety for our clients. And it has become reality. We now have a network of 80 experienced and trained professionals in the US and Canada. And we really feel like we're making a difference in the EV conversion world. I'm done here. So I know you have a ton of questions. So let's go ahead.
Well, thank you, Laurent. I would like to ask you just in general, what kind of time frames do people get on the average once the vehicle's at the shop? What is the time? I think you mentioned 3 days maybe. And then also about the cost, what kinds of, amounts of money do people spend to do this just on average?
Yeah, so the kit I showed you, it takes 3 days to install it. Now, those kinds of kits, they are super expensive. To answer your second question, this kit is $70,000 without the install. Now, there are many other ways. This kit is specific to 911s. If you have other cars, we do design kits for each car. Now, the conversion itself takes usually 3 months with a professional. If you want to do it yourself, depending on the time you have, but it will probably take a year, maybe more. 3 months is usually the right timing, and it can go up to 6 depending on logistics. So sourcing the products, the components, and testing the vehicle. Now, we're talking about price. The system I showed you is one of the most expensive. So it's 70K only for components, only for parts. the price range is very large. For all the components, if you want to convert a VW Beetle or a bus, it will cost something like $18,000 for components. If you want someone to do it for you, you might need to double the price. The minimum build we've had on the platform was $37,000 to convert. I don't remember exactly. It wasn't a Scout, but it was a Beetle. It was a Beetle. $37,000.
What do you do to the instrumentation on the dashboard? Sometimes the people will, wonder about the speedometer and the fuel gauge and, those things.
Yeah, you can replace everything. What we've done with the Mustang is that we replaced all of them, but with analog. So there is no display, there is no electronic from the inside. Until you start really moving, there is no way you see that it's an electric car. From the outside and the inside. Well, besides the exhaust, there's no more exhaust. But we kept the manual transmission. We didn't want any buttons. We didn't want any display. So for the gauges, we had, I think there is one here just right after. This is an example on the website. There is a display, but there is another one coming up. And it's for speed, depending on how the speedometer works on your car. But you can use a GPS one, so there is no connection to transmission or wheel. It's only GPS. And for the rest, the amps, the battery here on the screen, it's connected either to the BMS or the controller of the motor, depending on what you want to monitor. But there are many ways. For the Mustang, we used the Speed Huts gauges, very good gauges. And some people just want the LCD touchscreen display like in Teslas. It's really custom. Everything is custom. So we talk about it together, and it could go from analog gauges to big screens or displays like Androids, smartphones, stuff like that.
And what about a car that had a drive belt from the gas motor that ran a compressor for the air conditioner? How do you, handle that issue?
So you have to remove that and replace it with an electric vacuum pump. So this is for power steering and AC. Everything that is internal combustion engine related will be dumped and replaced by an electric system. Some people tried to keep the electric motor running even when idle, but that is doesn't work very well. Performance is poor. Range is really affected. You would reduce your range by 10 or 15%. And really, it's not the philosophy of EV conversion. EV conversion is nothing runs when idle. Electric motor power the car to move forward, and no braking. So you use the regenerative braking to power up the battery. That's the philosophy of any electric car today, and it's now applied to EV conversion.
And what about the safety? You mentioned that safety was the #1 thing. A lot of the older cars do not have ABS brakes. So do you deal with that, or you just take whatever the car had?
No, there are two things. First is if you convert your car with more power, then you're going to need bigger brakes. you're gonna need better suspension, because you want the car to stop and to steer. So that's the basics, but some people don't realize it at first. If you take a car that have 100 horsepower and you remove the motor, replace it with you remove the engine and replace it with an electric motor that has 200 horsepower, you need better suspension, better brakes. That's it. Now, safety is mainly, and that's also true for gas engine. If you do an LS swap on a tiny car, well, you need better brakes, better suspension. That's it. Safety for electric cars is mainly focused on high voltage system. All the wires, connectors, disconnectors, and battery boxes. You want them to be solid. You want them to resist any shocks. You want them to be protected. And that's the rule number one. And for DIYers, safety training for high voltage is also super important, because there is no margin for error. If you mess up with a high voltage, you're dead. That's it. End of story. That's the end of the build. That's the end of your life. If you're working on your garage and you start to fire, well, same. Say goodbye to your house. So it's high voltage is not like playing with gas engine at all. You need PPEs, equipment, protection. You need training. And if you don't want to be involved in high voltage issues, then you just ask for a professional to do it. And now there is also many more products available. Like you can buy the modules, the battery modules from Teslas. They are tested. They are under warranty. So that's very important at first to get those kinds of components. Then you can buy a battery box. We have modular battery boxes that are available, and this already helps. I can show you this one. We have boxes that you're gonna put the modules inside, and it's very easy, and you keep them safe from water, from air. There is no, it's enclosed, totally enclosed. There is valves in case of gases. So it's there are many items you can buy to enclose those battery boxes and make them safe. There is also new boxes that you can buy directly with everything. Battery modules inside, connectors, all the safety equipment, and those batteries are really plug and play. So it is very safe. You can do it. You can do it at home if you feel like if you want to do it at home. And it's very different from buying batteries. We also have those different modules. We offer a large range of products. This one also is a universal battery pack, and this is the enclosure. This is the one I showed you in the presentation. And you see here, it's carbon fiber, it's Kevlar. So there is the disconnect here, the emergency disconnect. All the connectors are here for cooling, for high voltage, for control, and it's top-notch products.
Wow. Very impressive.
Yeah. Well, we don't, again, high voltage is super dangerous. You don't want to kill yourself. You don't want to burn your house. And well, that's enough.
Now, the location of these battery boxes, does that fill up your trunk, or can you put them under a back seat? How does that usually work?
So I'm going to show you a nice example of one of the projects we have. This Suburban from 1938. So this is exactly an example of one of our customers. He came to us. He has this he's a Suburban collectioner. And he has all the parts. He needs restoration and conversion to electric. For this, in this case, what he wants is from the outside to look like the Suburban. But in terms of everything else, he wants a Tesla. So all the batteries will be in the floor, under the floor, between the chassis. So the shops here, he has received 3 proposals already. So we are discussing with 3 different shops for the best solution. But it will place all the modules, just like in Teslas, on the bottom in the chassis. So weight distribution is perfect. Center of gravity is the best, but it will need a custom chassis to fit all the battery modules. But this is one of the very interesting projects. If you don't want to transform all of your car, and I can show you this one, you can use the engine bay. So again, this is one of the this project is closed. It's gonna be in the shop next week in California, and it will place the 5 battery modules in the engine bay. The motor will be in the back, and that's it. Really, it's not that complicated. Now, if you want a bigger range, this one will have 120, 115 or 120 miles of range. Now, if you want more range, then you might need to put battery modules in the trunk, in the Bay Area, sometimes under the seat. Again, it's a lot of R&D for some cars. Some others, they've been converted so many times that we know already what's the best configuration. But depends if the project owner wants to race, only want this car to go to the grocery store, or travel cross country, so he wants fast charging, for instance. Everything is custom.
Thank you. Does anyone else have questions?
Sure. This should be a quick one. Since we are the Silicon Valley chapter of the Electric Vehicle Association, does your network have any shops that are located in this area?
I'm gonna show you the map because it's very transparent. You can go on our website. This is all the names. Maybe some are missing right now, but this is the map. You can zoom in. You can look at the names. You can contact them through the platform. There is everything. In orange, it's all the shops. In yellow, well, it's yellow or orangish. It's the training centers, or yeah, where you can get training, certification. Sometimes it's community colleges, sometimes it's universities. So this is everywhere where you can find an EV conversion class. So yeah, I guess we can zoom it a bit. I'm in France right now for holidays. That's why it says États-Unis and merci. So yeah, you can look at it, but the 3 main states for EV conversion are, it's pretty clear here. It's California, Colorado, and Florida. Coasts, obviously, West Coast, East Coast. And we are in Arkansas. Fuel2Electric is based in Arkansas, and there is no one there. There is one shop, the one that we use for our Mustang. But some of the states are completely empty in terms of EV conversion. Let's say Kansas, sorry, right in the middle, has no shop available. So yeah, and again, we organize shipping for cars. We make sure that sometimes it's better to ship your car to a converter that is not in your state because he has experience or he can work for less money. So all in all, shipping your car, putting it on a trailer is economically viable.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. I have a Bolt, and can I put a hitch on it and put a trailer on the back with an extra battery to go further?
Why would you do that?
Because it would be faster. Like if I live in Sacramento and I want to go to LA, I don't really want to stop and charge on the way.
So how much is going to be to put batteries on this trailer? So we have a blog. That's interesting. That's an interesting question. Some people would put an electric motor attached to their wheel to power up batteries in the trunk. Or so I'm not sure. Again, there is economic reasons. There is physics. I mean, the heavier it is, the more energy you will need. And that's one of the blog we wrote. It says the heavier the car is, the more battery you need, the heavier your car will be. And it's a never ending. There is a math method about it. But we have this article. You see here, we have this section. It's called Insights, and we put every week we put 2 articles about EV conversion in general. Best EV conversion kit companies in 2024, the beginner's guide. So there is a lot of resources you can use. Here, the heavier your vehicle, the more battery you will need and the heavier it will be. So putting batteries on a trailer will cost you a lot. I don't know how much capacity you want. And the whole system you're going to build to extend the battery capacity of your Bolt is complicated too. I'm not sure it's worth the money.
Thank you.
The weight at the charging station.
Yeah, let me make a comment about that. If you have a Chevy Bolt with a B like boy, then I think you're limited to 50 kilowatts of quote unquote fast charging, which could take a couple of hours to go from pretty low to pretty high. So what you may want to do is trade your car in for a car that's got 300 miles of range and it has fast charging where you can go from like 20% to 80% in 15 minutes. That would be a lot more practical than putting a trailer on the back, because then you're dealing with high voltage wires going between the trailer and the car, and that's kind of a safety issue right there. Personally, for me, I need to go to the bathroom about once every 2 hours. So plugging in and charging while I'm in the bathroom and maybe, getting a snack or something like that is not a big deal. So how many times a year do you go to LA? Maybe you should just rent a Tesla if you want for that one trip and not put the mileage on your Bolt. So those are just some ideas.
Thank you.
It's kind of an interesting question. We talk about this a lot. Just so you know, each Tesla module, so repurposed modules, they cost $750 bucks. Each one of them will give you 15 miles of range for a car under 3,500 pounds. So now you're talking about towing the new battery pack, and towing comes with a lot of disadvantages. So yeah, you can try. It would be interesting to do some follow-up. If you want to do it, I want to know how it ends.
Thank you.
So yeah, I can show you some of the. So I showed you here. There is the map of education and training for everybody who's interested. We have like partners, people that would give you advice or training through conference calls, just like this one. EV 101 sessions. Those are the last ones. It was June 26, 27, 28. Programs near you, again, the same map, but and the yellow points, the yellow pinpoints. And talk to an expert. It's free. It's one people from our team, so you can have a conversation specifically for a specific car, which makes a big difference. If we don't know what kind of car you want to convert, it's really hard to move forward. The basic information we need is what is the power you expect, what is the range you expect, what is the condition of the car, and how you're going to use it. Those 4 parameters are key in designing your setup. Now we have an online questionnaire, so you can take the questionnaire, and it starts here. And from there, we start a conversation. And if we feel like your expectations and your requirements are aligned with your budget, then we can feature your project on the platform, and ultimately you will receive proposals. Here,
Do you have any customer satisfaction statistics? Like, is everybody giving you a 5-star rating, or you got a few people that were not happy with how it came out?
There are 2 stages actually of satisfaction. There is how the website works and how we connect people. And there is the satisfaction of now my car is available and I'm happy or not with the builder. So far, so out of the 45 projects, the company is quite new. We started 2.5 years ago, and a project can take 6 months, 1 year, depending if it's a DIY or not. So in terms of platform, people call it white glove service. We take care, we want to make sure that they are happy about the relationship they create with the builder. It's very important because those cars, they are classic cars, family cars. There's a lot of passion, but also usually comes from a father or for a grandfather. So there is a lot of emotion. It's a very emotional process. So we want to make sure that we show them that we love their car too. So everybody's super happy about the platform. About the vendors, we make sure and we control every step of the process. And so far, we have only happy customers. So yeah, we're super happy about the outcome. Yeah, thank you, Ben. We're super happy about the outcome. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of last weekend. My brother Arnaud and John, the 2 other co-founders, they were at one event. It's called State of Charge, and they were everybody there. Everybody from the industry was there. It was in Denver, and the day after there was the Electrify Expo. I'm sure you know Electrify Expo. And it was crazy, all the love you get from people. There is not so many people that would spit on an electric classic car. It used to happen at the beginning, but now we know how to present the car. We understand what people love in those cars, and we have so it is so unique. And once you drive it, actually you like it. You hop on a car that's a classic, you're a bit, maybe you can be a bit disappointed because it's an electric car, but then you hit the throttle and you're like, okay, I like it. That's a done deal. I have nothing else to say. You come back, you never have to go back to the gas station. You go back to your house, you plug in, the day after you take it to go to work, it becomes a daily driver, and it's a lot of fun.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Hey, Laurent, you showed a picture of a 1979 Beetle built for Kimberly. VW stopped making those in 75, 76 timeframe. So that obviously came from Pueblo, Mexico. It's an out of US car. You take those two? I mean, they're not necessarily to US standards. Where'd that car come from? Just curious.
Really, you know more about the history of the car than I do. Kimberly and Mike, they have the car for, I have to look at it, but they owned it for 20 years. I don't know what I don't know the history of the car. So yeah, probably it's a Mexican car. I have no idea, but they owned it for 20 years, so they've been driving around, and I don't see why they couldn't anymore.
Yeah. It's nice that they converted it. It's good.
Yeah, well, again, it's one of the easiest conversion. It's simple. It comes with a net gain motor connected to the manual transmission. You don't have to switch gears. You can start on second or third, and the battery goes on the under the hood in the front, and it's very easy. It's very easy. One of the well, there's a company called Fuel2Electric, and they've been performing conversion for Beetles and VW Boost for 15 years. And the last 10 years, they didn't change anything to their build. They used the same components again and again, as far as I know. So it's very well documented. This is what I'm saying.
Any last questions before we close?
Thanks, Laurent.
Okay, well, thanks, Laurent. And I think we're going to stop the recording now, and we'll send you a link to the recording when it becomes available.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having me today. I'm super happy to talk about view conversion. So anytime if you need me or need my help, need the help of Fuel2Electric, if you have a classic car in your garage and you don't know what to do with it, make a call.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye.